this religious publishing ministry.
Oh, yeah.
And we're hoping to understand, the core principles that were really driving this ministry and how those principles evolved and changed over time.
Right.
I have to say, go through this material.
Yeah.
I was really struck by the sheer dedication of these early publishers.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's captivating.
Yeah.
We have a chance here to look at not just the mechanics of how this ministry operated,
Right.
but the why behind it all.
Yeah.
What were the motivations and beliefs that were driving all of their efforts?
Yeah.
What challenges did they face trying to spread this message, and how did those challenges shape the way the ministry evolved over time?
You've given us personal letters, official documents. We even have a vision about an operating room.
Wow.
This mix of, personal anecdotes and then kind of big picture perspectives gives us a really unique lens, I think, to kind of view this story.
And the personal stories are key here.
Yeah.
If you think about it, this ministry started with a single publication that was hand-carried to the post office.
Really?
It speaks volumes about the level of personal commitment that was involved.
The stark contrast to the way we think about publishing today.
Yeah.
No massive printing houses, no online distribution networks.
Right.
Just this deep belief in their message and a willingness to just put in the hard work to get it out there.
It's really reminiscent of a modern-day startup.
Oh, yeah.
Where you've got very limited resources.
Right.
And it really forces you to be very resourceful and rely on your own grit and determination. And these early publishers, they were working tirelessly.
Yeah.
Often without, enough food or proper housing.
Wow.
It really begs the question, what drove that level of commitment?
And that's where I think those personal letters really shine.
Yes.
You get a sense of their unwavering faith and how that just fueled every single action, even when things were incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about spreading a message.
Yeah.
It was about living their beliefs day in and day out.
It also highlights the sacrifices that they were willing to make for this vision.
Yes.
For example, during the cholera outbreak in Rochester, they didn't just abandon their mission.
Wow.
They adapted and kept going.
Yeah.
It shows real dedication to operational stability, even when things are chaotic.
And that need to adapt, that's a theme that just runs throughout their entire history.
It does.
They're constantly moving their printing operation.
Yeah.
Facing new challenges, finding creative solutions. It makes you wonder, what lessons can we draw from their experience?
Right.
How can we apply that resilience and adaptability to our own lives?
It's a valuable question, especially in today's world.
Right.
Things are changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
I think their story really offers a timeless lesson about the power of persistence and the importance of embracing change as an opportunity for growth.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the personalities that really shaped this ministry.
Oh.
Figures like James White were instrumental in setting the course.
Yes.
They had a strong sense of integrity, an emphasis on leadership, and a deep belief in divine guidance.
Strong leaders are absolutely essential to driving any movement forward.
Yes.
But it also raises the question of balance.
Yeah.
How do you harness these really powerful personalities while still ensuring that you have collaborative decision-making?
Right.
How do you maintain unity while acknowledging and respecting those individual contributions?
And from what we can see in the sources, they really had this strong emphasis on mentorship and training.
That's interesting.
Yeah. They understood that to really be effective, you need to develop both character and practical skills in your workers. So we see meticulous qualifications.
Okay.
We see apprenticeship programs.
Yeah.
And this real focus on building a strong organizational culture.
That's fascinating because it mirrors what we see today with, this emphasis on professional development and mentorship. It really highlights the importance of investing in people, not just tasks.
Absolutely.
And it seems they understood that competence wasn't enough.
Right.
They really wanted to instill their values and principles into the next generation.
But of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing.
Of course not.
They faced their share of internal conflicts and controversies.
Right.
We see evidence of financial mismanagement, tensions surrounding fair wages for writers, and strong stances taken against certain types of commercial printing.
This is where those ethical dilemmas that are inherent in any business really come into play, especially one with a strong moral compass. How do you balance those competing interests?
Right.
You need to be financially sustainable, but you also want to stay true to your values.
Yeah.
How do you navigate the complexities of making decisions when there are multiple stakeholders involved?
And these sources don't shy away from those challenging questions.
It's good.
And that's what makes them so valuable.
I agree.
They give us this nuanced look at the human struggles and triumphs that are woven into this larger story.
It's a reminder that even organizations that are driven by a higher purpose are still made up of individuals.
Yep.
And individuals are fallible.
That's right.
And sometimes the most valuable lessons come from looking at those moments when things go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And their ambition was truly global.
Oh, yeah.
They envisioned spreading their message all over the world.
Wow.
And developed a very strategic plan to achieve that goal. Establishing publishing houses in key locations like Nashville,
Right.
Washington, D.C.,
Yeah.
translating materials into multiple languages.
Right.
It speaks to a level of foresight and planning that's remarkable.
It's interesting to think about the challenges they must have faced in navigating all those different cultural landscapes.
Absolutely.
Today, we have all these sophisticated tools for cultural adaptation and localization,
Right.
but they were real pioneers in this space.
Think about it.
Yeah.
They were operating from what they called outpost centers,
Right.
not just, big urban hubs. It suggests a very deliberate strategy to reach a wider audience,
Right.
to really work from the ground up rather than just relying on those established networks.
And that brings us to another fascinating element here.
Okay.
The prominent role of Ellen G. White's writings in their strategy.
Yes.
They clearly viewed her works as really foundational to their message, distributing them strategically alongside their other publications.
Right.
And there are even warnings in the sources against letting financial considerations hinder the spread of her message.
This is about more than just promoting a single author.
Right.
It's about really building a canon of influential works.
Yeah.
They were establishing thought leadership within their movement, ensuring that message fidelity was maintained while also navigating all the practical business aspects.
Right.
And, let's be honest, even for organizations that are driven by a higher purpose, those financial realities can create really difficult choices.
It's true. And the sources really highlight those financial struggles that they faced.
Yeah.
I was struck by one account where it said, "We started in great poverty.
Wow.
We had scarcely enough to eat and wear. When potatoes were scarce and we had to pay a high price for them, we supplied their place with turnips."
Wow. Can you imagine that level of sacrifice today?
I mean, it's really a testament to their commitment, isn't it?
It is.
They were willing to prioritize their mission even when facing, basic needs shortages.
Absolutely.
It really reinforces the idea that their dedication went way beyond just words on a page.
Yeah.
They were really putting their principles into action.
They were living it.
But their intense focus on spreading their message also drew criticism from some.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some accused them of being overly controlling, too focused on expansion.
Interesting.
Some even went so far as to label their zeal fanaticism. It raises the question, where do we draw the line between passion and obsession?
That's a complex question.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to acknowledge those dissenting voices.
Yeah?
It forces us to consider, what are the potential downsides of unwavering commitment?
Right.
Were there any unintended consequences to their relentless pursuit of these goals? Did their focus on expansion maybe overshadow the needs of individual workers?
Yeah.
These are tough questions to grapple with.
Absolutely. It reminds us that history is rarely black and white.
It rarely is.
And it's crucial to consider multiple perspectives, even those that challenge our own assumptions.
Agreed. But despite those criticisms, their commitment to developing their workforce is undeniable.
Oh, yeah.
They placed a very strong emphasis on character development alongside those practical skills.
Yeah.
They truly believed that spiritual growth was as integral to their mission as technical proficiency.
It speaks to a really holistic approach to education, doesn't it?
It does.
They weren't just training workers.
Right.
They were shaping individuals,
Yes.
instilling values that they believed would guide both their work and their lives.
And that commitment extended beyond just their own members.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They actually used their resources to establish training programs, apprenticeships, even schools that were open to the wider community,
Wow.
offering opportunities for advancement to those who might not have had access otherwise.
That's incredible.
It's a compelling example of social responsibility in action.
For an organization so focused on the printed word,
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how much they also valued music and its power to connect with people, on an emotional level.
Oh, absolutely.
They incorporated music into their services, their schools, even their publishing work. They had songbooks, trained musicians. They even formed their own music publishing company.
Music has this incredible ability to uplift and inspire and create this sense of community.
It does.
And it seems like they really understood how music could amplify their message
Right.
and resonate with people on a deeper level.
And they didn't shy away from using new technologies to further their reach.
That's right.
From the printing press to the telegraph and eventually even radio.
Wow.
They were really early adopters.
Oh.
They recognized the potential of these tools to amplify their message and connect with a wider audience.
It speaks to their entrepreneurial spirit and their adaptability. They weren't afraid to experiment to find new ways to engage with people and share their beliefs.
It makes you wonder, what can we learn from their approach to innovation?
It does.
How can we, in our own lives and work, embrace new technologies and use them to make a positive impact?
That's a question worth pondering.
It is.
It's easy to get so caught up in the mechanics of technology.
Right.
But their example really reminds us that it's ultimately about connecting with people and making a difference.
Absolutely. And they faced a lot of pushback along the way.
I bet they did.
Accusations of heresy, claims that they were undermining traditional religious beliefs, even concerns that they posed a threat to society.
Yeah.
They faced it all.
That kind of opposition often comes when you're challenging the status quo.
It does.
But instead of discouraging them, it seems like it actually solidified their resolve.
It did.
It reinforces the idea that their convictions ran very deep.
Yeah.
They viewed their work as part of a larger, even divine plan.
The sense of purpose.
Yeah.
That belief that they were part of something so much bigger than themselves.
It's powerful.
It is.
It's a very potent motivator, especially when you're facing a lot of opposition.
And they saw signs of the end times all around them.
Oh, really?
Wars, famines, natural disasters.
Wow.
They believed they were living in the last days, and their work was part of a divine plan to prepare humanity for what was to come.
It's a perspective that has resonated with many people throughout history.
It has.
Whether or not you share that belief,
Right.
understanding their worldview is absolutely crucial to understanding their actions and their impact. It's about seeing the world through their lens.
But their message wasn't all doom and gloom.
Okay.
They also offered a message of hope, of redemption, of a better world to come.
Right.
They believed that those who accepted their message would be saved from the coming destruction
Wow.
and inherit a glorious future.
That duality, the impending threat, but also the promise of salvation.
Yeah,
It's a powerful combination.
it is.
It creates this sense of urgency.
Right.
Like, you need to act now.
Yeah.
You need to choose a side.
And that message resonated with a lot of people.
It did.
Their movement grew rapidly, spreading across the globe,
Wow.
attracting followers from all walks of life.
It speaks to that universal human desire
Yeah.
for meaning, for purpose, for a sense of belonging.
And their vision of that better world was incredibly detailed.
What was it like?
A world without sin,
Okay.
without suffering, without death. A restored paradise.
It's a vision that has really captivated the human imagination for centuries.
But they also believed that this paradise wouldn't come without a struggle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they saw themselves as soldiers in a spiritual battle,
Interesting.
fighting against the forces of evil.
This theme of spiritual warfare,
Yes,
it really permeates their writings.
it does.
They use a lot of military metaphors,
Yeah.
calling on their followers to be courageous, to stand firm in their beliefs, and to never give up the fight.
It's a very powerful image.
It is.
And alongside the call to action was an equally strong emphasis on self-reliance.
Oh.
They encouraged their followers to be independent, to develop practical skills, to be prepared for any eventuality.
This was more than just a survivalist mentality. This was about embodying their principles.
Right?
They built farms, schools, healthcare facilities,
Wow.
even entire communities that were dedicated to self-sufficiency.
That's incredible.
It was about creating a world that really reflected their values.
And at the heart of it all was a deep emphasis on the importance of family.
Yes, family is so important.
They believed that strong families were the foundation of a strong community
Right.
and essential for building a better world.
They encouraged their followers to marry within the faith, to have large families,
Right.
and to raise their children according to their beliefs.
Yeah.
They provided practical guidance on everything from child rearing to conflict resolution.
Oh, yeah.
highlighting the importance of nurturing healthy family relationships.
They were also real pioneers in advocating for healthy living.
Oh, that's interesting.
They believed that the body was a temple of God and should be treated with respect.
Right.
So they promoted a vegetarian diet,
Okay.
abstaining from alcohol and tobacco, and emphasized regular exercise.
It wasn't just about physical health, though. It was about aligning your lifestyle with your spiritual beliefs.
Yeah.
They saw these practices as a form of discipline, a way to cultivate self-control and spiritual growth.
Interesting.
And they put these beliefs into action
How so?
by establishing healthcare facilities, sanitariums, and even health food companies to promote these principles.
They were also strong advocates for religious liberty.
Yes, everyone should have that freedom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They believed that everyone should have the freedom to worship according to their own conscience.
Right.
Without fear of persecution.
That principle was deeply personal to them.
Yeah.
They had experienced their own share of discrimination and opposition.
Right.
They understood firsthand the importance of protecting freedom of conscience for everyone.
And they put those beliefs into action.
How so?
Speaking out against religious intolerance.
Okay.
Advocating for the separation of church and state.
Right.
And defending the rights of minority religious groups.
It's a reminder that the fight for religious freedom is an ongoing one.
It is.
And that vigilance is required to protect this fundamental right.
Absolutely.
It's also a testament to their commitment to extending their values beyond just their own community, advocating for justice and equality for all.
And their legacy continues to this day.
Okay.
Their movement has spread to every corner of the globe. And their institutions continue to provide education, healthcare, and social services to millions worldwide.
It's a remarkable story
It is.
of faith,
Yeah.
dedication, and perseverance.
Mhm.
They faced incredible challenges,
They did.
made their share of mistakes,
Of course.
and yet they still managed to build a movement that has had a profound impact on the world.
It's an inspiring example of the power of human belief to shape the world around us.
I agree.
But it's also a cautionary tale,
Yeah.
reminding us that even the most well-intentioned efforts can sometimes have unintended consequences.
Absolutely. It's a complex legacy,
It is.
full of both triumphs and contradictions. And I think that's what makes it so fascinating to explore.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
You know, the origins of this publishing ministry,
Right.
their core principles, their global expansion,
Yeah.
the controversies that they faced, and ultimately the enduring legacy that they left behind.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It had.
And, as before you wrap up,
Yeah.
I keep coming back to that human element of this story.
I agree. It's those personal glimpses.
Yes.
Those little anecdotes about their daily lives.
Right.
That really make this history come alive.
For instance, those early workers,
Yeah.
packing boxes late into the night, fueled by little more than, their shared conviction.
Right.
And maybe a few turnips.
Maybe a few turnips.
It's a powerful image of dedication.
It really highlights the difference between, simply stating a belief
Yeah,
and truly living it, doesn't it?
it does.
They weren't just preaching a message.
Right.
They were embodying it in their actions.
Yeah.
Their choices, their sacrifices.
And it makes their accomplishments all the more remarkable.
It does.
These weren't superhuman people.
Right.
They were ordinary individuals
Right.
who chose to do extraordinary things driven by this unwavering faith.
So as we conclude this deep dive,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways? What do you hope really sticks with you?
For me, it's that reminder that building something lasting,
Yeah.
whether it's a business, a movement, or even just a personal goal,
Right?
it takes incredible dedication
It
and a willingness to navigate all those difficult choices.
Yeah.
There will be setbacks, disagreements, moments of self-doubt.
Sure.
It's about persevering and learning from those challenges.
I think that's so important. And for me, it's the power of clear communication
Yes.
that really shines through in this story.
Right.
From those meticulously crafted publications to their emphasis on really training speakers.
Right.
They understood that getting your message across effectively is crucial.
Absolutely. And they were masters of using different mediums,
Yeah.
print, music, even technology,
Right.
to connect with people on a deeper level.
It's a valuable lesson for all of us.
It is.
No matter what our field or passion is.
Right.
How can we communicate our ideas
Yes.
in a way that resonates, that inspires, and that creates meaningful impact?
That's the question to keep asking.
It is.
And it's a question that's beautifully illustrated in the sources you provided.
I couldn't agree more so if this deep dive has piqued your curiosity.
Yeah.
I really encourage you to explore these sources in full.
Absolutely.
You'll gain an even richer understanding of this fascinating journey through history.
Yes.
And the enduring power of human belief to shape the world.
It's a story full of valuable insights and thought-provoking questions that will stay with you long after you finish reading.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe it will even inspire you to make your own mark on the world.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive
Jonathan.
into the history of this remarkable publishing ministry.
It was fascinating.
We hope you enjoyed the journey.
We did.
And remember, for more insightful explorations into captivating topics, be sure to subscribe to The Deep Dive.